Shipwrecked on a barren island for 7 years, the storm came without warning. One moment the sky was clear, the sea calm, and the next, the heavens roared with fury. The waves towered like mountains, tossing the sea voyager like a mere plaything. I clung to the rail, shouting for my crew, but the wind carried my voice away. A deafening crack split the night as the ship struck something, jagged rocks beneath the raging surf. Darkness swallowed me. When I awoke, I lay sprawled on a beach, sand clinging to my soaked clothes. The salty scent of the sea filled my nostrils. My head throbbed, my limbs ached, but I was alive. I staggered to my feet, scanning the horizon. There was no sign of the sea voyager, only shattered planks and tangled ropes washing up on shore. I was alone. The island stretched before me, a cruel parody of a paradise. Rocky cliffs framed the beach, rising into a dense thicket of lifeless, gnarled trees. The ground was barren, cracked from the heat. No birds, no animals, only the ceaseless roar of the ocean and the whisper of the wind through the twisted trees. The creatures of the night, for a long time, I believed I was alone. But the island had secrets. It started with footprints, large, clawed imprints in the sand near my shelter. At first, I convinced myself they were tricks of the wind, but one night, I heard it, a guttural growl from the darkness. My fire crackled, casting flickering shadows against the trees, and I saw them, eyes, watching me. I gripped my crude spear, heart pounding. The beasts, whatever they were, never attacked outright. They lingered in the night, watching, waiting. I fortified my shelter, kept my fire burning bright. Time lost meaning. The island became my prison, my world. My beard grew long, my body lean and hardened. My hands, once soft, were now rough and scarred. I was no longer a sailor. I was something else, a survivor. The first days of survival panic threatened to consume me. I had no food, no fresh water, no shelter. My first priority was to find something to drink. A desperate search along the shore yielded a cruel discovery. There were no fresh water, streams. The island was cursed with dryness. I stumbled upon pools of water trapped in rock formations, but they were brackish, undrinkable. Then I saw them, cactus-like plants growing between the cracks of the rocky cliffs. Desperation forced my hand. I hacked at one with a sharp-edged rock, splitting its thick flesh. A sticky, bitter liquid seeped out. It was awful, but it kept me alive. Food was another challenge. The island offered little, some tough, tasteless roots, a few small crabs hiding under the rocks, and seaweed that made me sick the first time I ate it. But hunger has a way of overcoming disgust. Nights were the worst. The wind howled like a ghost, and the cold seeped into my bones. I built a makeshift shelter from driftwood and palm fronds, though the latter were scarce. I had to trek inland to find anything remotely useful, and even then the resources were pitiful. One day, after 7 years of solitude, I ventured further than ever before, scaling the cliffs I once feared. And there, hidden within a crevice, I found something impossible, remnants of a shipwreck. Not the sea voyager, but something much older, rusted metal, rotting wood. Among the wreckage, a skeleton, its bony fingers clutched around a rusted dagger. I was not the first to be stranded here. I scavenged everything useful, fragments of metal, a torn sail, anything that could aid me. And then, hope. A small wooden chest, half buried in the sand beneath the wreckage. My fingers trembled as I pried it open. Inside, flare gun. I fell to my knees, laughing and crying at once. 7 years, 7 long, unbearable years, and fate had finally offered me a way out. That night, I climbed to the highest point of the island. I waited, watching the horizon, praying for a ship to appear. When at last I saw the faint glow of sails in the distance, I fired the flare. The red streak lit up the sky, a desperate beacon. The ship changed course. I wept. Homecoming rescue was surreal. Faces, voices, Human contact after years of isolation overwhelmed me. They fed me, clothed me, listened in disbelief as I recounted my years of survival. When we reached civilization, I was a ghost of the man who had once sailed the Sea Voyager. But I was alive. I often think of that island, of the beastly shadows, the sun-scorched rocks, the cave that became my home. I wonder who the skeleton belonged to, how long they had waited for rescue that never came. Some nights, even in the warmth of a real bed, I hear the wind howling and wake with the taste of salt on my lips. A part of me never left that island, and perhaps it never will.